All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband and fellow realtor. How are you today, Pat?
Very good. How's everything going?
Oh, I'm just wonderful.
Do you like the weather? It's no snow.
I know, no snow.
Don't worry, it'll probably be in 2 months, though.
We have with us for the second week in a row, Jason Snyder, owner of Snyder's Painting. Thanks for coming back with us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Anytime. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many relentless realtors who've been guiding, assisting, and advising clients in real estate matters for over 50 years.
You can always email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab and take a look at Dunmore Corners and see what's going on.
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com. jruddy.com, where you can also find all our archive radio shows and podcast apps, popular podcast apps that our radio show is featured on. Also, remember to check us out on social media. We're pretty much everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Okay, Jason Snyder, owner of Snyder's Painting. You've been professionally painting for how long? 32 years?
32 years.
Wow. And you've been in our area for 13 years.
That is correct.
And you service all of Northeast PA. How did you get started painting?
That's a great story, Jackie. Let me tell you about it. My dad said to me one Friday evening when I was 12 years old, he's like, son, you go to work with me? I'm like, I'm a 12-year-old. I want to play video games all day, Dad. That's what I want to do. And that was the original Nintendo. That was the big thing back then. Or he said you go with your mother to a Longaberger basket show. Now, I've done those a few times, and any woman knows what a Longaberger basket is. Right, Pat?
Not a clue. Yeah. Not a clue.
It's not a fun show. It is not at all. Let me put it that way. And I'm like, Dad, I'm going to work with you tomorrow.
And what did your dad do?
He's a painter and drywaller. So yeah. I'm a fourth generation
Nice.
painter. I never thought I was going to do this for my life. I thought I was going to be in broadcasting because I got my degree in communications with an emphasis in sports broadcasting, sports information, but it didn't pan out. So I just came back home.
How many people actually use their degree, right? So we have that conversation with our teenage son who's going to be making those decisions in the near future. But it's, it's amazing how life has other ideas for us, right?
Exactly.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I could tell you my political science degree really helped me in the fire department. Not.
Okay. What remodeling projects offer the best returns? Number one, hardwood flooring. Okay. If someone does hardwood flooring, it's 147%. It recoups 147% of its initial cost. And there's a lot of projects that make people feel joyful. So 10 out of 10 on the joy scale is painting their interior. That gives them a lot of joy. Outside projects, both roofing and a new garage, will help owners break even and recoup their costs, while no outside project scored a 10 out of 10 on the joy scale. Painting the exterior siding scored 9.8%.
You know what would bring me some joy? If I could send you to paint my neighbor's house.
I hear that quite often.
Maybe they'll go on vacation and we can sneak over there and paint their house.
It's been something we were hoping for like maybe the last 20 years, but it hasn't happened. So
no, because I get that phone call quite a bit, as I'm there at the person's house. Can you paint their house? Because it's losing value on my house.
That's right.
And they're trying to.
Yeah. So that's good news for you. And so you are both a residential and commercial painter.
Correct.
And so you're probably doing at this time of year plenty of exterior jobs, correct?
Yes. This is the time.
You also do deck staining?
Yes.
Power washing?
Yes.
Clean gutters?
Yes.
and epoxy flooring in the garage.
Yes, I love doing those.
All right. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that eventually because we have someone here in the studio that loves garages. And
Who could that be?
I don't know. All right. So, what are you seeing in terms of color schemes? Anything trending these days?
A lot of grays. I am seeing, it could be light grays, dark grays. It seems like everywhere I go, they're like, I want a gray. I'm like, okay. And sometimes, we're only there for a short period of time, and it's like, hey, it's nice. But sometimes the guys are like, let's do something different. I'm like, look, that's the homeowner's decision what color we choose because we're only there for a short period of time. And sometimes the homeowners will be like, hey, what color would you recommend? And I'll help them choose some colors sometimes.
Right.
Like
so how do you choose a color? There's like sometimes you have that one room that's quirky. How do you choose a color for a room that's too small? Let's start with that.
Well, if the room's really small, you want something that is a light color because the light colors make the room bigger. So you want a whites or has a very small tint, not much tint into it. That way it will make the room bigger. So you don't want to go black. You don't want to go these dark grays, browns. You want something vibrant.
Okay. So maybe pastel if you don't want.
Yeah, I knew somebody who had their apartment painted brown. And every time I went into that apartment, no matter how many lights were on, I felt like I was in a cave. Always. The windows would be open and everything. It was no bueno.
And you didn't want to stay in there.
I didn't.
It's like the McDonald's back in the 70s. They had these god-awful colors in there. And the reason they did that was so that you didn't spend enough time in there. You would leave after a short period of time. So that way the new people would come in.
I didn't know that. Okay. So what about a room that doesn't have any natural light or windows or a smaller window that doesn't bring in a lot?
You also want lighter colors because you don't want to be in a cave. Unless you're down in the basement and you want a man cave, you want those dark colors.
Okay, these seem pretty, it seems like common sense. What about a room that's too large?
You could do whatever you'd like to. You could do a dark color. You could do a pastel. You could do medium colors. When I say medium, you want a dark, somewhere between a dark gray and a light gray. You could do something in between.
All right. How about for a room that has something ugly to hide? Let's say a radiator, a steam pipe, something like that.
Sometimes when you have those, you want to camouflage those, and that might be part of the wall. So that way you just make it part of the rest of the place. You don't want to make that stick out.
When I was a kid, I used to have to paint the radiators silver. And that would make them stand out like a sore thumb. I mean, you'd walk into the room, you'd say, oh, geez, there's a big radiator down there. So what do? You paint it the same color?
I paint the same color as the wall. That way it camouflage it.
Camouflage it?
Yep, make it happen. Because I don't want that to stick out because the rest of the trim is white. Most trims are white, so that way it will pop. But with that in there, you don't want to make that white.
Okay, makes sense. All right, and so you help people choose colors because sometimes people really don't know, right? So
yeah.
How about, when they do like a dark color, but the room's not going to pull it off on all four walls, you still painting accent walls?
Yes, we do accent walls. And one of the things I do is sometimes we'll buy samples.
What is an accent wall for a guy like me? What do you mean?
An accent wall is something different from the other three walls. So you want something, so let's say you have 3 white walls. You want this one wall to be something different. So let's make that a blue. So that wall would be considered an accent wall.
Which wall do you choose because you have 4 walls, okay? So which one would you recommend choosing for that accent wall?
That just comes down to the homeowner, whatever the homeowner wants. So sometimes they'll be like, they want that where the TV is. I know at my house, my accent wall is where the TV is. That just is different from all the other ones. When I tell people to what color, because you were saying, what color for the accent wall do you go with? Sometimes you just go on there, get the sample. If there's 2 or 3 that you're looking to go with, get 2 or 3 samples, put them on the wall, and then check them throughout the day. One at 7 o'clock, noon, 3 o'clock, and 7 o'clock at night, because the artificial and the natural lighting will change the look of that quite a bit. I tell you a story. We did a room. It was a Sherwin-Williams called Bagel. It's a beigey color, and the homeowner came home probably around 6 o'clock one night, and he's like, man, this looks pink. I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, it does, sir. I'm not disagreeing with that. But if you look at the swatch here, it looks, beigey. And I was stumped. Why is this looking like this? I looked, and I finally looked at the chandelier. The chandelier had all these different tints, and one of them was a rose. And how that sun hit it at that time of day, boom, it made it look pink. And they're like, nope, that's got to go. We got to get another color in here.
So is there some kind of an app or something?
There is an app for that.
Yes.
Now, how does this app work, and where do you get it?
The Sherwin-Williams has that app. You can just go to SherwinWilliams.com and look for the app. I don't have the exact address, but just go to SherwinWilliams.com and you can look at it. And what you can do is take a picture of your room and then put it into the app, and then you can say what color you want. So you could say, all right, I want Killian beige or snowbound or whatever other color you may want your room to look like, and then see what that looks like. But the true thing is, put it actually on the wall yourself, and you can get those little samples at Sherwin-Williams. Now, I don't know if they still have them because of the paint shortage, but you can still see if they have them. And just for like $10, you can put a sample up there.
What do you mean, paint a little part of the wall?
Yeah, just put like a 3x3 area.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking you put like a little
swatch
card up on the wall. I was like, how do you get that? No, I didn't even know you could do this.
Yeah. Just put it like little quartz for $10.
They give you a little sample, and and
you put it on the wall. That way, you can see how it actually looks like at different times of the day.
Oh,
okay, very good. Are there some myths that we should be aware of regarding painting our interiors?
Yeah, don't think a big room needs to have a light color, or a small room you can go with a dark color. I would recommend a light color in a small area, because I've read articles before that too, and I know you've read articles too, Jackie, that says, hey, a small room should be a dark color. I mean, I like light, unless you're in Alaska, who doesn't have daylight from like October to April. I like light. I like my vitamin D. I like sunshine. I want things to be bright and shiny. Like you're saying, your garage.
I love it. But that's because I'm working out there. I got to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Speaking of garages.
Oh, I love garages.
Yeah. So talk to us, please, about what you do in terms of this epoxy on floors and garages.
Yeah. We use, it's an epoxy garage floor. So one of the first things we do is we do a water test on the concrete itself. If the water is beating up, that means we need to grind up the floor.
Wow.
So, and if it doesn't beat up, then we don't need to grind the floor up.
Because my garage floor, we sealed it, and I would think that in some spots it'll beat, in some spots it won't.
So if it's like that, because we'll do test areas in 6-7 spots to make sure of all that. And if it beats in some places and it doesn't beat, I'm grinding the whole floor up. After I grind the whole floor up, I am going to then power wash it, get it cleaned out, because it's going to be like a major dust storm. So if I have to, I'm going to seal off the door going into the house. That way nothing gets in there, and everything through the garage door is going to go out that way. Power wash it, clean it off.
Into the neighbor's pool.
Yeah, wherever. After we are finished power washing it, we're going to let it dry. Then we're going to fill in all of those cracks in there. Then after the cracks are filled, we are then going to put the first coat of the epoxy paint. And now there's a lot of different ones out there. I like to use the Armasil 1000 is what Sherwin-Williams recommends, and that's what they use at the industrial parks. And that will last. By putting this on there, you'll get a good 10 years out of this product. So you put the first coat on there, let it sit the whole day. Second coat, as you're putting the second coat on there, let's say you do a gray floor. Then you could do these flakes. You could do black, white, and gray, spread them out there. And it's like putting, sunflower seeds, out there. And that way you spread them out, put them on, and then let that sit for the day. And then I'll give you another example, is if when you're staining something, you want to seal it off.
Right.
You want to put a polyurethane on it. And as with the garage floors, instead of putting polyurethane on there, you're going to put a Rex stain on there. You're going to seal it. And that's just a thin, clear coat on there. And that way, one of the things that wives love about these garage floors is that it's easy to clean. And not to say it's only the woman's job to clean. Men can clean it too. I've cleaned my garage floor all the time.
I sweep my garage out 3 times a week.
Hey, you care about your garage floors. And, if there's a grease stain, you put a degreaser on there and it cleans it right off. Other things, you can just put some Pine Sol and put it on there and it cleans really well. So
now when you're doing this, is really hard to visualize. See, I know exactly what it is. and I think it's gorgeous. Like some of the new supermarkets I go into, they have that type of floor. The floor has been epoxied and it's got the high gloss, and I really like that look a lot. But if you come in to do mine, say I have oil stains in my garage, say I had a leaky car, what do you do with that?
Now, is this before or after? Before I am cleaning that off, I am making sure I'm power washing it and getting that.
So you can get that oil and stuff
out. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm going to do everything I can, because if my cold water pressure washer is not doing it, I'm going to bring a hot water pressure washer in. And because I've had to do giant gas stations pretty much throughout the whole East Coast.
I can imagine it.
And one of the things I had to do was bring the hot water pressure in and get all those oil stains out of there. And they're like, wow, we didn't think about a hot water pressure.
But when it's done, it looks magnificent. Really and truly.
It brings up the value of one's house, too.
Go walk into the garage and see that. I would be like, wow.
Well, even like when look, we live in Northeast PA, a lot of snow, and bringing all this mud and snow into the house, it's less cleanup.
Right. When the snow melts in the garage in my car, in my garage, I get that effervescence. The white powder comes out of the concrete, and I'm constantly sweeping that out. So I'm a big fan of this. So
no, I would highly recommend it. It brings one's value of a house up.
I guess that's the next project. You're so enthusiastic.
But then I have to move everything out of the garage.
Why don't you show this enthusiasm over my ideas?
Here's another thing. When we're doing it, you're looking about 7 to 10 days. So it's a process to do it all. And when we are finished done, you have to wait another week before you can start bringing things back in. So a vehicle, you don't want to, because of that hot macadam and stuff on a hot tire, bringing that in there, it's going to sink in. You want to make sure that is fully cured and stuff before you start bringing.
I was looking around in the garage the other day, and I thought about if we ever have to move, that garage is a disaster.
I don't think so.
It is.
I know exactly where everything is.
I know, but it's a disaster, and I can't even.
Well, the beauty is you wouldn't know if it was robbed. You could look out there and you wouldn't know.
So to do this floor, do you understand everything would have to be out of the garage?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Well, I'm going away. Bermuda, here I come.
There you go.
Yeah.
3 weeks in Bermuda. Have a good time, dear.
I'll FaceTime you. Okay. All right. On that note, Jason Snyder of Snyder's Painting, can you please give us your contact information, please?
Sure. The best way to reach me is my cell phone. It's area code 267-733-3496, or you can reach me at the office at 570-319-1082, or you can go to my website at www.snyderspainting.biz.
Thank you very much, Jason. Pat, would you like to review a listing?
Yes, we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, bi-level style home. It's at 201 Lita Circle in Taylor for $149,000. This home is located on a quiet cul-de-sac, but it's only minutes from the major highways. This home is in move-in condition. It features a large level yacht, a concrete driveway.
Yacht? A yacht comes with that house?
Where is this at again?
Yeah, really.
Leah Street in Taylor? I'm going there right now.
You cut that out. Oh, that's good. This move-in condition home features a large level yard, a concrete driveway, and a built-in one-car garage. This home also has large rooms and a finished lower level with a bedroom and a bath. That's a lot of house for not a lot of money. That's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, bi-level home at 201 Lita Circle in Taylor for $149,000. And that's listed by Paul Mackerel of our office.
Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be right back. In your past real estate experiences, did you find most agents were mediocre? At Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, we defy mediocrity by being relentless. Don't settle for average. Contact the Relentless at Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. We have an excellent track record of serving the community for 50 plus years. Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's jruddy.com. Thanks for joining the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back.
We are back with Jason Snyder of Snyder's Painting. Hello.
Jackie, Pat. Nice to be here again.
Okay, we're so happy you are here. We want to talk about do's and don'ts of painting. We're going to go back to the painting topic after our epoxy floor, garage floor discussion. You ready to move on, Pat?
No. But that's okay. We'll move on. I'll force myself.
Speaking of epoxy, I was looking for it. I had something here. But Bill Mountain from Bill Mountain's Thorough Clean. Hi, Bill. Bill's a faithful, loyal listener. He mentioned that he's been doing epoxy countertops, tabletops. That's a thing now, and it's gaining popularity and it's trending.
Yes,
have you heard that?
I have heard that. I have not done that myself. I have not gotten into it yet. I might explore into it sometime, but I'm not into it.
All right. Well, if you do, hit me up because I'd like to have you in and talk about that because I just don't know who else to call. But let's talk about do's and don'ts of painting and how important is mixing? If you go to the paint store and you get it mixed and say it sits in your house for a couple of days, when you open it, do you have to mix it?
I always mix it. Now, see, what I do is I shake it. I just take a gallon can and I'm just shaking. I wish you could see but it's that good radio right here as I'm trying to shake myself. But
so it's always a good idea, even though they spin it around and that they
yes.
still do it.
Even after a day. The next day, we didn't use it. I'm still shaking it up. Or if you don't want to shake it, you get the little stir stick and you just stir it really good in there.
It is important. Okay.
I like the one you put on the end of the drill that spins around.
We've done that too.
And when you pull it out, it goes everywhere.
Not in my house.
No, I do it out in the yard.
Okay.
And it's all over me and the grass. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So what you're saying is you get more paint on yourself than you do on the walls.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. How about when you're in the middle of painting a room, a wall, and you have to stop for one reason or another? You got to go pick up your kid here. You got to go make dinner.
You ran out of paint.
Or you ran out of paint.
So what you want to do, if you don't think you have enough paint to finish a wall, don't stop in the middle of the wall. You want to just make sure you complete the whole wall. Because depending on what sheen you get, let's say you get an eggshell satin or a semi-gloss, finished paint and you're doing painting only half of it, you'll know where you stopped at, and it won't. Lapping it is not good. Now, if you do flat paint, you can stop in the middle of the wall and finish it some other time later.
Well, what if you have to you're going from one can to another? Because sometimes they're not exactly the same.
The technology has gotten a lot better over the last 10, 15 years. You should easily.
It should be okay.
You should be able to. What you do is I box all my paint all at one time. Put it all to 1 gallon cans. Put it into a 5-gallon bucket.
Okay.
And that way I know it's all going to be the same thing. The thing is, if you buy your paint from, let's say, Sherwin-Williams, because there's, 4,000 Sherwin-Williams stores across America. There, you put it that way, they all have the same tint. What I try to buy it from the same store. If I bought the paint for your house, Jackie, I'm going to go to the same store, because sometimes the stores have a little bit different
people in the store
mixing it up.
Yes.
They're really good and stuff, but sometimes it could be off just a little bit.
Yes, I've noticed that. Okay.
So box all the paint first together.
How do you determine how much paint? I know it's by square footage.
I go by square footage.
Those cans lie.
They do at times.
They lie, because I've tried.
It all comes down to who's applying the paint on there. I know sometimes it says 400 square feet per gallon. I believe more 350. I go by, when I'm bidding a job, I'm going by 300 square feet per can. So if I know, usually a typical 10 by 10 room, you needs 2 gallons for the walls, for 2 coats. 1 gallon for a ceiling, 1 gallon for the trim. That's what you probably need. So if you got a 10 by 10 room or a 12 by 12, you need about 2 gallons for the walls.
For the walls.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you something real quick. Can I reuse a roller?
No. Not for
cheap.
a different job.
I'm cheap. I want to,
no, that's not recommended, because then the paint, sometimes the
I could never get them clean.
They're hard to clean. Now, clean the paintbrushes, they're a lot easier to do. But rollers, they take a while to clean out. And for a good roller, you're spending about $8. I would say, just throw it away. And when you're starting a new job, get a new roller. Because when you go into a house, if I'm going to a house and I use a re-roller, they're like, you're a professional painter, you're reusing it. They look like you're cheap and you're trying to, get one over them. Okay. I like to use brand new rollers.
And there's their trick to cleaning paintbrushes.
I like to use hot water. That's just me, and I use my finger to get all the paint out of there. You can use different products. You can use some products to clean it, like turpentine you can use, but I don't like to use that. I just like straight up hot water. And sometimes people say, well, the hot water loses some of the bristles. That is true. So I try to do more or less warm water. People like use cold water and you have no problem, but I don't like the cold water. I just want to get in there, use my thumb, get in there, and
do you wrap them afterwards? So that
I do. And I use printer paper to wrap them up first, let it sit for about 2 hours, and then put the box back on that you originally bought the paintbrush in.
And you have a theory that if a paintbrush doesn't come in a box, it's not worth buying. All right.
Because it's not worth keeping, because it's only going to last 1 or 2 times.
And is there a trick, something about a corner to a corner?
Yes. If you have any kind of sheen higher than a flat sheen, you want to make sure you paint that whole wall. If flat paint, you can easily touch up the wall, no problem at all, depending on how old the last time you painted it. If it's within a year or 2, you can easily touch it up. But if you're trying to touch up a sheen that is like a satin or a eggshell semi-gloss, it's not going to happen. So you have to paint the whole wall from corner to corner.
All right. Do's and don'ts. This is the last thing I want to ask you about. Do you have to paint a ceiling white?
I say yes. You don't have to, but by doing a ceiling white, you can choose any color for the walls. Now, if you do, I don't know, I've done a brown ceiling before, but then you're limited to what color you want to do the walls and the trim. But by doing a white ceiling and a white trim, it can open all possibilities for the walls. Now, I've done a room where a homeowner said, you know what? As a matter of fact, it wasn't even the homeowner. It was the decorator said, I want this whole room, this one brown color. And the homeowner is like, I am not too sure about this. Let's just do the ceiling and walls first before we touch the trim. So we did it, and he's like, well, let's bring the decorator in. Decorator's like, I told you to do everything this color. Son, put the paint on there. I said, okay, I'm putting the paint on there. And it came out really nice, but it was all the same color. It was for a person's office. Would I recommend it to everybody? No. I like white ceilings and white trim. That's me.
Okay, so visually, what does that have? Does that effect have on the eye? Does it increase? Does it make the room look taller?
It pops a lot easier and stuff. It makes your eyes look at the walls instead of putting your eyes onto the ceiling. Which
would be a different color if it was white. Your eyes would immediately go to the ceiling. Is that the way it works? Okay. All right. Jason Snyder of Snyder's Painting. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
You can reach me at my office at 570-319-1082. Or if you really need to talk to me, you want to get a hold of me, right away, you can reach me on my cell phone, which is area code 267-733-3496. Or you can go to my website at www.snyderspainting.biz.
All right. Thank you so much for 2 weeks in a row. We really appreciated your time.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Pat?
Yes, we have a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's at 101 McDermott Street in Jessup for $249,000. This well-maintained home is in the Valley View School District. This home is full of beautiful craftsmanship with tile and wood floors along with granite countertops in the modern kitchen. This home is located on a dead-end street. It has off-street parking, a fenced-in yard, and a large rear deck. Taxes are less than $2,000 a year, and it also has a great finished basement and is very close to the Lackawanna Heritage Trail. That's a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath home at 101 McDermott Street in Jessup for $249,000, and that's listed by Jessica Ruddy of our office.
And thank you, Pat. And I'd like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. Have a safe, enjoyable, fun weekend. Enjoy the fireworks. Scranton finally has their fireworks back after 3 years, so have a ball. Remember to join us next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.